Okay. Yes, sir. Hello, sir. You're welcome again. And thank you very much for being
Thank you
here.
very much.
So, guys,
Thank you for having
let's
me.
just do a quick introduction of our guest. Okay. So, today we have Olufukeji Jimmy Adegbeye, aka the Ancestor. Now, just in case you don't know, the Ancestor is Africa's #1 Forex coach. He's the founder of the Profitable Investor Network. He's a husband, father, and a preacher. And he's on a mission to raise 70 Kingdom billionaires before his 70th birthday. And just so you know, he's a big deal, a real big deal. He has about 112,000 Instagram followers. So this is no joke, guys. And sir, you're welcome, sir. Let's just start out with this being on the mission to raise 70 Kingdom billionaires. Sir, 70 Kingdom billionaires before 70. Where did you get that from, sir? Why 70? Why billionaires? And why before 70?
Okay, first of all, thank you so much for having me, and I'm very happy to be here. Secondly, you insisted on popularizing this your nickname for me, the Ancestor. So you've put it in the slide, and what can I say? So
I mean, just what it is, sir.
to answer your question, I just projected into the future. There was a few years back, and I thought about my life, that how would I want my life to be when I'm getting to the end of my life? And what would I want to have achieved? And one of the things was I wanted to be worth a particular amount of money. And I got thinking about it, and as a believer that I am, when I was thinking about it and meditating on it, one of the things that God impressed in my heart is a man's life does not consist of the abundance of his possessions. So instead of me saying, oh, by my 70th birthday, I would have loved to be worth 70 billion, I thought instead that if I have raised 70 billionaires, would it matter whether or not I'm a billionaire? Whatever impact I've created in their lives, I would have access to whatever resources I may have had if it was just my money. So I decided to start measuring my success, not from a selfish perspective, but by tying my success to the success of others. So if I can raise 70 Kingdom billionaires, I wouldn't need to be worth 70 billion. And it sounded a lot better to me. So instead of having a selfish, well, not really selfish, a personal goal that involves only me, I decided to make it my life's goal to make an impact in the lives of others. So that's why it is 70 Kingdom billionaires, a billionaire for every year on earth. And why is it kingdom? Because I personally believe that when people who fear God, when people who love God, when people who respect God and love others are empowered financially, there's no end to the kind of impact they can make. So they have to be kingdom billionaires. They have to see something bigger than themselves. They have to believe that this is something that's not about them. So that's why it is kingdom. Yes.
Wow. Interesting. So you literally took all I've been become we worth 70 billion and turn into reach 70 billionaires. That's fantastic, sir. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. So, sir, we've introduced you briefly, but sir, I would like to ask, why would you please introduce yourself to us? I mean, we have an audience watching. Many of them have met you. Some of them have never met you before. You've been hearing the ancestor. They would like to meet you.
The ancestor. They will hear the Jimmy. Not the ancestor.
Okay. Yeah. So, would you please introduce yourself to us, and then also tell Tell us, how did you get started into, at what point, and how did you get started into this kingdom, billionaires, kingdom, entrepreneurship, financial freedom? At what point did it shift? Did that happen for you? And how did it happen?
Okay, thank you again, Gideon. So for me, my name is Olufukeji Ejimi Adegbe. My friends call me Ejimi, and you insist on calling me Ancestor. I am a chartered wealth manager. I'm a chartered wealth manager. I'm an ex-bank trader, and my students call me Africa's #1 Forex coach. I'm the creator of the Forex Wealth Flow methodology, which is a 5-step process that shows you how to use Forex trading, financial markets, to grow rich on your own terms, to make enough money that you can afford to do what matters most to you with those who matter most to you. Yeah. And I'm also the founder of the Profitable Investor Network. I'm happily married to my wife, Marie Adegbe, a baker and owner of Sweetness Cakes KD, the best baker academy and cake shop in northern Nigeria. And I have 2 kids. I have a daughter, Seba, and I have a son, Jael. I love God, I love family, I love finance, and it's my quest to see very happy homes, to see people live the fullness of their lives on their own terms. Okay. And it has always been a desire for me. I grew up in a comfortable family, but my dad had a lot of financial challenges, and it really scarred me growing up. I saw the role that money played in raising a happy home. I saw the impact that the abundance of money could create. And I saw the problems that the absence of money could create. And watching it firsthand play out in my house over the years, where things got really bad financially, even though they started out very well, just made me know that, look, this money issue is a problem that must be resolved, because it can destroy homes, it can destroy families. And so even when I got serious with God, even when I started following God, it was always at the back of my mind that this issue of finance must be resolved. So, and the kind of person I am, I ask questions a lot. I ask people who have gone ahead questions. I ask God a lot of questions. I read books, I read the internet to see what people have said. So my passion for supply, my passion for abundance, my dislike for poverty pushed me to the point where I just sat down one day and said, how do I figure out the science of getting wealthy? This is what led me to financial markets. This is what led me to study the lives of wealthy people. And this is what led me to, in the place of prayer and study, just say, Lord, can you help me figure out how money is created, how money is distributed, how money is amassed, so that I will never have the problem of lack in my life again. So this is how it happened. I remember one time I was praying in my undergraduate days. I took out time to just pray, because I was like, I don't ever want to be poor. I don't want what happened to my father to happen to me. And God asked me a question. He said, what will you do if you had all the money in the world? And when God asked me that question, I now decided to find out, what do people with all the money in the world do? This led me to do a lot of trainings. I joined the American Academy of Financial Management. I became a fellow eventually. I became a chartered wealth manager. I studied private banking, financial markets, while still studying my regular course in school, because I wanted to figure this thing out. And I'm happy to say that I figured it
out. Of course. And this is quite interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. And this becomes really interesting, because now you started out trying to figure this out for yourself, but now you not only figure it out for yourself, but you're creating a movement. It's now okay. Now we figured this thing out. Let's make sure everybody, as many people as care to figure this out, solve this puzzle for themselves.
Exactly.
Sir, this is wonderful, sir. This is wonderful.
Thank you, my brother.
Well, okay, now I'll just move on to the next question quickly. Yes. Now the global pandemic. I know you trade the global financial markets, and now all over the world was hit by a pandemic, or is still hit by a pandemic, and most economies are still crippled generally. And so, I'd like to ask you, how did this affect you? Did this also cripple the global financial markets? What was the impact? Because I know some markets were not impacted, or some markets were impacted positively, while others were impacted negatively. So how did the pandemic whole thing affect you?
Okay, well, personally, for me as a person, and it's not something I like saying, because there's so much pain around, there's so much suffering, people are dying in their hundreds of thousands globally, and things are very hard for very many people. And this is the season to be compassionate, this is the season to be generous, this is the season to look out for the other person. But it still is what it is. For me, the pandemic has been an extremely profitable period for me, and I truly cannot say that I have been adversely affected apart from the lockdown. In fact, I have profited. Now, for some people may have a problem with that, but I always say you can't help the masses if you're part of the masses. You can't help the poor if you are also poor. The only way to help someone is to not be facing their own reality.
Yes,
it has to be something you've come out of, so you can help them come out of it. So, from a trading perspective, there was increased volatility, especially from February. Towards the beginning of February, we saw the gold markets rally. They bought up. They went up very strongly, because when there's panic and there's uncertainty generally, geopolitically and globally, safe haven assets like gold are in high demand. So we saw gold rally and buy all the way till about end of February, when it started coming down again, and then towards the middle of March, it started to go back up again. And these are very clear moves. So anybody who had bought gold would make a decent amount of profit off of that. So the pandemic created increased volatility in the markets. We saw assets move faster and move further. But if you know what you're doing, volatility is a good thing. So whilst there was increased volatility in the market, nothing really changed for me. My financial models clearly showed me what to do, what to trade, why to trade it, and when to enter. So overall, as a person, as an individual, I did very well during this period, and I'm still doing very well. But of course, one has to be aware of the realities that are on the ground, and to sympathize and empathize with people who are going through a tough time in this season.
Okay, thank you very much. And of course, and it's in a bid to empathize with others. That's why we're having this conversation right now. That's why we put up the Digital Wealth Summit. Yes, and that's I'm sure that's why you're giving out. Nobody's paying you. You're not being paid, but you're showing up and you're giving value, because there's a lot of people affected by the pandemic. So we really appreciate it.
Thank you, my brother.
Okay, again, sir. Thank you, sir. So now, and it's quite striking of how it impacted you. I mean, the markets volatility, because we saw certain sectors, we saw a surge, a spike in the usage, for example, in the demand for certain sectors, and then why some were totally wiped out. Demand was zero. So there are a lot of young people watching this now, over 700 actually, over 700 people registered for this summit. So now the question is, for a lot of these young people, some of them are not trading the global financial market. Some of them are not really. Some of them think they are not tech savvy, or whatever. They just for some odd reason, they just feel I'm not the tech type. And so I'm sure we had a conversation the other day, and you're sharing certain skills, high value skills that in the coming decade will be relevant regardless of the sector, regardless of the industry. So the question now will be, what are these essential skills that you talked about in recent times that young people can pick up and actually run with regardless of their industry? High value skills for young people to pay attention to in these times.
Okay, fantastic question. Let me say this, that the only thing that crisis does is it makes us pay attention. There's nothing that I'm going to be saying here that I've not been saying, but people may not necessarily have been paying attention. But the pain that is everywhere now is making people pay attention. And that's the purpose of pain. Pain makes you pay attention. You can have a lump or a boil on your face. If it's not painful, you're not going to treat it. But the moment it starts giving you pain, you know that it's time to see the doctor. So one thing I need to do is people must use this period of pain to pay attention to the gaps and to the lapses that exist in their approach to their finances. So that is very important. And in paying attention to the pain, you also have to pay attention to the people who have been able to rise above the pain. So if you're looking for the kind of skills that you should be focusing on, you have to pay attention to the people who seem to be doing very well in this season and find out what they are doing. But basically, I think personally that the best set of skills anybody can have is number one, the ability to attract goodwill and favor to yourself. Number two, the ability to sell, to exchange your value for a fixed fee. And number three, the ability to invest, to use a financial vehicle to grow your money. And so anybody who wants to make a difference in their finances in this season must be focused on, number one, how to increase your level of goodwill and favor. Number two, how to sell more, sell faster, sell better. And number three, how to invest smarter. Anybody that pays attention to these three skills will make a turnaround in their finances within the next 6 to 12 months. So when I say turnaround, a huge turnaround, a major turnaround, if you pay attention. So the first is how to attract favor, how to attract goodwill, which is basically all about branding, building a brand, personal branding. Personal branding is what helps you to become more favorable, more attractive to people around you. So you have to learn branding. And by branding, I don't mean creating logos. I mean putting up a persona, putting up a personality online that people can resonate with through consistency, through uniqueness. You communicate a message, a reality, a thought, a concept online using whatever method in a way that is consistent and in a way that inspires others. Most people are not intentional about building an online persona. They leave it to chance. So they join a social media platform, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and they just connect with friends from secondary school, and that's all. No, you have to be intentional about the image you are communicating. I use the Bible, for example. Jesus asked his disciples, he said, "Who do men say that I am?" And the disciples started saying, "Oh, some say you are John the Baptist, others say you are Elisha." And then Elijah, he says, "Who do you say that I am?" And that's your approach to personal branding. That's your approach to how you use social media. Are you communicating your values? And are you communicating value to your audience in such a way that after a while they can say who you are based on the content that you put out? So that's so important. It will attract favor to you, even not just online in your everyday life, always trying to be of assistance and help to someone and projecting consistent values. The second thing is learning to sell. Salesmanship is the best skill you can ever have. Why? When you build a personal brand, when you make yourself more favorable, people will reward you and respond at their level. So you can be favored by someone who is extremely successful, and you'll be extremely favored. You can be favored by someone who is not so successful or not so wealthy, and you just get regular compensation. So the challenge with favor is it's at the mercy of the quality of the person favoring you. But selling is different. Selling is a fixed price. When selling, you demand your compensation. So whether it's a rich person or a small or someone who's not so rich, the price you have put on it levels the playing field. So everybody should learn how, in addition to learning how to activate favor, everybody should learn how to sell. You need to pick up books, and preferably if you're a millennial, you should learn how to sell online, because this is how most people make their money within that age range as millennials, selling online using your Android device, using technology platforms, using different other channels. But by all means, please learn the laws that govern selling. And then the last thing is investing. You must learn what to do with your income, where to put it, how to reinvest it into financial vehicles that make you 100% per annum. If you're able to do this, you're well on your way to certain measures of financial freedom and overcoming any challenge that this uncertain times may bring to you financially.
Wow. Now, this is just brilliant. Favor, learn how to activate favor, learn how to sell, and then learn investing. But sir, is there a reason why you chose 100% per annum?
I'm 100% per annum because investing is risky. And for certain people, if you don't put a benchmark, you will not know what you're aiming at, and there will be no way to measure yourself. Why I say 100% per annum is because 100% per annum is slightly above 9% per month.
All right.
Now, traditional investments typically give you 10, 11, 12% per annum. And if you're doing it yourself, you should be able to do times 10 of that. And that is why I choose 100%. Because if you double your capital, there's enough left for you to do something meaningful with it. So that's why I use 100%, because traditional investments typically can make you between 10 to about 22, depending on the economic policy and monetary fiscal policy in your country of residence. So 100% is safe. 100% will stretch you without breaking you, and it should also be scalable to 100 million. So whatever investment vehicle you are involving yourself in, that you are gaining competence and mastery in, to be able to accommodate 100 million naira worth of investment, and should be able to produce 100% per annum. If you find an investment vehicle that can do 100% per annum, and you're able to raise 100 million naira, that means you will make an extra 100 million in the following year. Anybody that makes 100 million can never be poor again, because that's enough to take care of basic needs. 100 million naira, which is roughly at this current exchange rate about $250,000. That's enough for anybody to survive on, except you are irresponsible. So that's a lofty target, that in your lifetime you will have made 100 million naira. And if you know how to grow that money by 10% a month or 100% per annum, you're going to have annual revenues of that. It's a lofty goal. It's a good 5 or 10-year goal.
Yeah.
That is very achievable with proper mentorship and dedication. So that's it. Are you with me? Hello? I've answered the question. It's like network is skipping. Hello? 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 Is anybody there? Wow, I think we're having issues. So let me still shed more light on why I say 100 million, and 100%. I personally believe that we should do things that stretch us. I personally believe that there's no reward without some measure of risk. And I personally believe that the bigger the risk is, the bigger the reward. So I think that it will stretch anyone if they've never made that kind of amount before to keep that as a target, because it means that the amount is big enough to really stretch you and force you to reinvent yourself and force you to think out of the box. So that is why I chose that amount. Yeah, that's why.
Wow. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. So now this is just fantastic, mind blowing. Because now when you start to think of 100% a month, you now start to pay attention to selected kinds of investments. So you don't just dabble into anything. Anything just because you think it's investing.
Because what many people call investing, what many people call investing is not investing. What many people do is Ponzi schemes. What many people do is get rich quick schemes that don't really help you build capacity. They just say, bring your money, put it in and make money. Remember, the goal is to build capacity, to have those skills.
Yes, sir.
Personal branding skills, sales skills, and investment skills. So anything that doesn't necessarily help you develop your skill base is not an investment, especially at the beginning of your career. I think that's how I do it. Yes, sir.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, sir, for sharing this with us. You shared with us essential skills that we need to pay attention to and giving us cues on how to go about getting these skills. And this is just fantastic. So what this means, anybody can actually take these things and run with them. Yeah. One other question, sir. Now, you're coming back on Saturday where we're diving into your core field, Forex trading the global financial market. So, sir, give us an idea. We're coming to share lessons from lessons I learned after 10,000 hours of trading the Forex market. So, what are we to expect? There are a lot of people watching and they're wondering, and sir, I also know you have a free gift to give out. So maybe you can think on that too.
Okay. For many people, they've not really had the chance to see someone who trades for a living. It's not something that is so popular, especially around West Africa. So I've been able to use my life as an example of what it means to trade and to be an independent trader of the financial markets. So what they can expect is they will have the chance to ask real questions during that session as it pertains to Forex, and they will get real information, not theoretical information now. You're going to get real actionable steps. What I learned from 10,000 hours of trading is that everybody's driven by fear, everybody's driven by greed when it comes to money. And these emotions are present in every person. Whether you think you have it or not, it's only something that triggers it and reveals it. So trading will reveal a lot about yourself, your personality, your financial temperature to yourself. And trading will all principles of life in accelerated form, where if you don't know what you're doing, you will lose. That's how life is. You pay for your ignorance. And if you know what you're doing, you will make money. That's also how life is. You get paid for what you know. And what you do with what you know. So these are some of the things I've learned. And of course, with specifics with regard to the markets, how the markets behave, what drives the markets, how investors react when certain things happen in the markets, the factors that you require to be in place to become a successful trader. These are some of the things that I have also documented and shared in some of the free gifts, the free worksheets, trading books that I have. So yes, these are some things one can look forward to, as well as asking questions on how to use trading to earn as much as you earn in a salary, and how to use trading to go beyond earning the equivalent of your monthly salary and even to your annual salary, and so on and so forth. These are some of the things I will be touching on. Yes, when that time comes.
Wow. Fantastic. Thank you so much again, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today. So it's been awesome having you on this training session.
Thank you for having me.
So everyone, if you're watching this video, just ask your questions right now. Ask the questions in the comments, and we'll come on live to answer those questions. The answer will be here live answering those questions, guys. So thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, the Ancestor, for
having me. I'm really grateful
with us again today. And we really do appreciate it. God bless you.
Thank you so much, my brother. Cheers and God bless.
Amen.